burn in thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth. I come for nothing.
Paddock call.
Anon, fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
Bloody man is that? He can report, I seemeth by his plight, of the revolts of new estate.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hearty soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two Spanish swindlers had to flee together and choke their arms. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that, the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallicrosses is supplied. And for brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked a bloody execution like valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which never shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun gives his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break. So, from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valor armed compelled these skipping parents to trust their heels, than the Norwegian lord, surveying baggage, with furbished arms and new supplies, and men began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report. They were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so that they doubly redoubled their strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I'm faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go, get him, surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Dane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes.
God save the king.
Whence came thou, worthy Dane?
From Fife, great king, when the Norwegian banners flout the sky, and then our people cold. When Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict. Until that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons. Point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now we know the Norway's king craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he dispersed it at St. Combs Inc. $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, grieve Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, Macbeth hath won.
Swine, beware thou, sailor's wife, and chestnuts for that, and munched, and munched, and munched. Give me, quoth I, Right thee witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to a leopard, master of the tiger. But in a sieve, I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and
I'll give thee a wind.
thou art kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. The very ports they blow, all the quarters they do know in the shipman's cargo. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep will neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He will live, a man forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it can be tempest-tossed. Look what I have. Show me. A pilot's son, wrecked as homeward he did come. A drum, Macbeth doth come. The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about. Thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound out.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen. How far 'tis called? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like inhabitants of the earth and yet are on it. Live you? Or are you off that man may question? You seem to understand me by each at once a choppy finger laying upon your skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so. Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Blanc.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
So why do you start to sing the things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, be fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly show. My noble partner you greet with present grace, in great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, but he seems wrapped with awe. To me you speak not. You can look into the seeds of time and say which grains will grow and which will not. Speak then to me neither beg nor fear your favors, nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy yet, much happier.
Thou shalt get king though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth.
All hail.
Stay your imperfect speeches. Tell me more. By Simon's death I know I'm Thane of Blanc. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the reason of belief. No more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak! Speak, I charge you! The earth has bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished? Into the air. And once even Corporal melted his breath into the wind. Would they had stayed. Such things here as we two speak about, or have we eaten on the insane brute that takes the reason prisoner? Your children shall be kings. You shall be king. Yes, and Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so. The self-same tune, who's here? Oh.
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, with his wonders and his praises, do contend what should be thine or his. Silence with that. In viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norway in ranks nothing afeard of what thyself didst to make strange images of death. As thick as tail came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master's thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not hate.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor. In which edition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the devil speak true? The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who who was the Thane, lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he did join with those of Norway, or did lie in the rebel with hidden help or advantage, or that with both labored in his country's wrack, I know not, but treason's capital, confessed and proved, hath overthrown him.
Glance, and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. I thank you for your pains, gentlemen. Do not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them.
That trusted home might yet enkindle you on to the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. 'Tis strange. And oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truce. Win us with honest trifles. Trace the deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of this imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. Ill, why hath it given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. Yet good, why do I yield to that horrid image, whose suggestion doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder is yet but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
The chance will have me king, why? Chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him like these strange garments. Cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me a favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered for every day I turn the leaf to read them. Come, let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced here, and at more time the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then enough.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they have not yet come back, but I spoke with one who saw him die. He reported that very frankly he confessed his treason, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like believing it. He died as one had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as for a careless trifle.
There's no arm found the lion's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of gratitude is slow to overtake thee. Wouldst thou had less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment had been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due, and more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe in doing so paid itself. The highness parties to receive our duties. And our duties are to your throne, state children, and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything save toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and shall labor to make thee full of growing. Worthiest Banquo that has done no less, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
Therefore grow, the harvest is your own.
Plenteous joys, wanton in their fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Friends, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we shall establish our estate upon our eldest, whom we name hereafter as the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife at your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor,
Prince of Cumberland! That is a step on which I must fall down, or else o'erleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let them not see my black and deep desires. Aye, look at the hat. Yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
true, worthy Cawdor, true. He is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let after him, whose care has gone before to make us welcome. He is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in a day of success, and I have learned by the person's report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, unto which they vanished. While I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king that all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time, hail king that shalt bring. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dear partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart. Farewell. Young thou art, and Cawdor, and shall be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great! Art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. Would thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have, great glance, that which cries, thus thou must do, if thou have it. And what thou dost fear to do than wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes me from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who would so would have informed for preparation?
God please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows have esteemed him, who, almost out of breath, has scarcely more than to make up his message.
Bring him tending, bring great news. The raven himself is horse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts. Unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances they wait on nature's mystery. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, so that my keen knife see not the wound it makes. Nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold! hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
When will play?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Never shall sudden admiral see. Your face, my thing, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your hand. Your eye, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. You shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle has a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heavens breath. Smells wooingly here. No judgy frieze, buttress, nor coin of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and frogering cradle. Within most breed and haunt I have observed the air is delicate.
See our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein we teach thee how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our services, every point twice done, and then that double, though poor and single business to contend against those honors, deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our hearts. For those of old, and the late dignitaries heaped up to them, we rest your hearts.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and thought to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as a spur, hath pulled him home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs in common, to make their audience at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We hold him highly and shall continue our graces towards him.
If it were done when it is done, then it were well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch, with his surcease success, that this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. Here upon this bank and shoal of time we jump the life to come. But in these cases we have judgment here, which being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed and as his host. Should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan, hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office that his virtues will bleed like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. Pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast of heaven's cherubim host, upon the sightless couriers of the air shall blow this horrid deed in every eye. The tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, only bolting ambition, which must o'erleap itself and fall in the air. How now, what news?
Why have you left the chamber?
Have he asked me?
No, you know he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I've got golden opinions from all sorts of people which would be worn now in their newest gloss. Not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Has it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale hail, and what is it so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou here to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon, I would, like the poor cat in the edge?
No, pretty woman! I dare do all that become a man, and he who dares do more is none!
What fiend was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis the love the babe that milks me. I would have, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed its brains out if I had so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail,
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his hard day's journey soundly invite him. His two chamberlains will I whine and wassail so convinced that memory, the warrior of the brave, will be a few, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lies, as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan, who not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
bring forth men children only. For thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have smeared with blood the sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive the other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I'm settled. And bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what a false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
Take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. Is husbandry in heaven? Candles are all out. Take thee this too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me these cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's that?
Oh, friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure to lately and sent forth great honor for your offices. This diamond, agreed to work with by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up and measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free of rot.
All's well. I dreamt last night of 3 weird sisters. To you they showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we shall spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
You plead to my consent when it is. Shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchise and allegiances clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you. Yes.
Go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. bed. Is this the dagger I see before me? Handle toward my hand? Come. Let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not a fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, false creation proceeding from the heat oppressive brain? I see thee, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me to the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made fools of the other senses, or else with all the rest. I see thee still, and upon thy blade dudgeon gouts of blood which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is this bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, or hath the world nature seemed dead? Wicked dreams abuse the curtain sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and within murder alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with darkened ravishing strides toward his design moves, like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk. For fear the very stones prate of my whereabouts, take the present fore from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done, the bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it's a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Made them drunk, made them bold, but it quenched them, hath given me fire. Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. Hear the come. The doors are open. The surfeited grooms do mock their charge with small. I have drunk their pulse. With death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there, Who?
Alack! I'm afeard 'tis not done. He attempted not the deed. Confound us! Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. I do not resemble my father as he slept. I have done it. My husband.
I have done the deed, didst thou hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry.
When?
Don't you speak?
When?
Now?
As I descended?
I?
Ha! Who lies in the second chamber?
John O'Main.
This is a sorry sight.
The fool is not to say a sorry sight.
This one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder! As I had seen you with these heaven's hands, listening to their fear, but they did say their prayers again and then dressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening to their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
For wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I most need a blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Thought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth doth murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care. Death, the sore labours, bad form of it, minds, great nations, thinking good, cheap nurture and life feet.
What do you mean?
Still a cry to all the house, sleep no more. Macbeth doth murder sleep. Therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, my worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooves with blood.
I dare not think of what I've done. I've not done it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears the painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Why did that knocking? How's it with me when every noise appalls me? Hands with you. They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's oceans wash the blood clean from this hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. Hark! A knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy has left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Put on your nightgown. This occasion calls to show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know myself were best not to know my deed. Quick, Duncan, with thy knocking! I would thou couldst. There's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he'd have old turning the key. Knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer who hanged himself on expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith is an equivocator who could swear against both the scales from either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate himself to heaven. Oh, come, ill equivocator. Knock, knock. Ooh, there. Faith is an English tailor, come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never had quiet. What are you? This place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter no further. I had thought to let in some of all professions that go the primrose white to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon. I pray you, remember the porter. Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed that you lie so late? Right, sir. We were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things. What three things does drink especially provoke? Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes a desire, but takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him, sets him on and takes him off, assuades him and disheartens him, makes him stand true and not stand too. In conclusion, equivocates him in his sleep, giving him the lie, leaves him,
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. His very throat on me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though it took up my legs some time, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? I'm not getting us away from him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy Thane? Not yet. He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
Not make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Knows the king hence today.
He does, he did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
It was a rough night.
A young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 Thou no heart cannot conceive, nor name thee!
What's the matter?
Confusion thou hast made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke out the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building. What did you say, the life?
We knew his majesty.
Approach the chamber, and destroy your sight with the new Hogart. Do not let me speak. See, then speak yourselves.
Awake. Awake.
Ring the alarm now! Murder and treason! Backward Donovan! Malcolm! Awake! Shake off this downy sleep! Now counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up and see the great Doom's image! Malcolm! Backward! As from your graves rise up, and look like sprite to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business? And such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house. Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear, what murderers it fell. Oh, Banquo! Our royal master's murdered.
Whoa! Alas! What, in our house?
Too cruel. Anywhere. Dear God, I pray thee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
No!
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I'd lived a blessed time. There's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is strong and merely eases left this fault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, I don't know it. The wine, the life, the very source of your life is stopped. The very source.
Your royal father's murdered.
By whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done. Their hands and faces were all batched with blood, as were their daggers which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
No, yet I do repent in my fury that I had killed them. Wherefore did you so?
Could be wise. Amazed, loyal and neutral in a moment. No man. The expedition of our island love outrun the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature, a ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. My pretty brain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make loves known.
Help me hence! Oh!
To the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues? It most may claim this argument for ours.
What should be spoken here where our fate hid in auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have these naked frailties that suffer exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand. And against the undivulged pretense I'll fight. Of treasonous merit!
And so do I.
And so do all!
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet together in the hall.
Welcome,
Aye.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. Showing them Phelps was an office which the false man does easy. Out to England.
To I will die. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. There's daggers in men's smiles. the near in blood, the near bloody.
This murderous shafted shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let's not be dainty of leave-taking but shift away. There's warrant in that depth which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
I can remember well. Within the volume of which time I have seen owls, dreadful and things strange, but this night have trifled forward knowings.
Oh, good Father, as thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threatens his bloody stage. Where the clock 'tis day, yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. Is it night's predominance, or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the big deed that's done. On Tuesday last, the tower, falcon towering in her bridal place, was by a mounting owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horse is a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift. The minions of their race turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
He did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Ah, but here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Oh, alas the day. What good could they pretend?
They were supposed, Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
It's nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's needs. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where's Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, out to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old roads rest easier than our new.
Farewell, Holland.
God's medicine go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and transpose.
He has it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised. And I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said it would not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. There come truth from that, as upon thee, Macbeth. Their speeches shine. Why, by all the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Ah, here's our chief guest.
If he has been forgot, it is then as a gap in our great feast, an all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most undissoluble tie, forever and hence.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice. You've been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. We'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt now and supper. Be not my horse the better, I must become a follower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, but filling their hearers with strange inventions. But of that tomorrow, when wherewithal we have the causes of state craving us jointly. Hie you to your horse, to return at night. Goes Fleance with you.
Aye, my good lord, our time calls upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves alone till supper time. Till then, God be with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
The other was that kind of thing.
bring them before us. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he doth have the wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There's none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him, and then prophet-like they hailed him father to a line of kings. On my head they placed a fruitless crown, put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind, for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, for them, and only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings. Rather than so come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's that? Now go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you on our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought them, and to all things else that to have a soul with a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, which is now the point of our second meeting. My patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel-less depraved with this good man in the place issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men,
In the catalogue ye go for men. I'll put that business in your bosom which takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who are our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to fight the world.
and I another, so wearied with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or renew on it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy,
True, my lord.
and so is he mine, that in such bloody distance every minute of his being thrust against my nearest of life. Though I could with death's power sweep him from my slate and bid my will avouch it, I must not. Though certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, would wail his fall who I myself struck down, thence that it is I to your assistance do make love. Masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our
The
lives...
spirit shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves. Acquaint you with the perfect spy, the time and the moment on, for it must be done tonight. Something from the palace. Always thought that I require clearness. And with him, to leave no rubs, nor botches in his work. Cleon's his son that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's. Must embrace the same fate of that dark hour. I'll come to you anon. Resolve yourselves apart.
We are resolved, my lord.
Banquo, thy soul's flight. If they find heaven, must find out tonight.
Is Banquo come from court? I, madame, but to come again tonight. Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words. Madame, I will. Knots had, all spent. What I desire is got without content. The It is better to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord, why do you keep alone? Sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died, with them they think on? Things without remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, ere both the worlds suffer. Ere we will eat our meal in fear, sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace of centerpiece, than to lie in the mind's torture of restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. Treason has done his worst. No steel, no poison, malice domestic, foreign living, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, my lord. Leave go your rugged work. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So I pray my love for you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces visits to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave of this!
Unspoken in my mind, dear wife! Thou knowest that Banquo and his fiancé lives.
But in the nature's cup is not eterned.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable, be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-boned beetle whose drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, and there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
The innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Thou marvelest at my words, but things bad begun make themselves strong by ill. So prithee, go.
Who did Busy join with us?
Macbeth. He needs her earnest presence. He delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveler of haste to gain the timely end. And near approaches the subject of our watch. Hark, by their horses.
Give us a light there! Ho!
Then 'tis he, for the rest that are within the court already have been invited.
It's almost a mile. But he does usually, so all men do, from hence to the palace gate maketh their walk.
A light! A light! 'Tis he.
Stand to.
It will rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Fight for green! Blood, blood, blood! 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 Thou mayest revenge!
Oh, slave.
There's but one down, the sun is fled.
We have lost the best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
His Majesty.
You know your own degree. Sit down. First and last, a hearty welcome.
Thanks be to your Majesty.
Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our guests. For my heart speaks they are welcome.
See they encounter thee with thy heart's thanks. Both sides are even, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon let us drink the table the measure round. There's blood upon thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better he without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did.
No, the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. Thou didst it, thou art non-pariah.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Comes my pit again. My dust been perfect. Whole as a marble. Founded as a rock, as broad and gentle as the casing air, but now I am cabined, clipped, and confined. Bound in by saucy doubts and fears. But thankful safe.
Am I, good lord, safe in a ditch he buys, with 20 trenchant gashes on his head, the least of that to injure.
Thanks for that. Tomorrow we'll clear ourselves again. Get thee gone.
Right, my royal lord, you do not give cheer. The feast is sold. It is not often vouched for through the make. 'Tis given with welcome. But thence the sauce to meet is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion, wait upon appetites, and health upon all.
May it please your highness sit.
Here have we now our country's honor rooked with the grace person of our banquo present. May I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence lays claim upon this promise. And may it please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
Where?
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Oh, the table's full.
Here, my lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which one of you has done this?
What, my lord?
What? Thou canst not say I did it! Never shake thy door enough at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friend. My lord is often thus, and has been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon the thought he shall be well again. If much you notice, you should offend him and extend his passion, feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
And a bold one to dare look upon that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This was the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, postures to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all's done you look but on a stool?
Truly, look closely and behold! Oh, if thou canst not, speak too! What if charnel houses and graves must in those that we bury back to them? Our monuments shall be the mounds of Cain!
What, quite unmended folly?
If I stood here, I saw him.
Fie for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now of the olden time. Ere the human statue purged the gentle wheel, the times has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. Now they rise from their graves, with 20 mortal murders upon their crown, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My royal lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not music me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Then I'll sit down. Or give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table. And to our dear friend Banquo, whom we missed, would he were here. To all of him we thirst, to all in all.
Our duties in the play. Duties in the play.
Come on! I quit my sight! Here, hide me. Thy bones are Maryland. Thy blood is proof. There's no speculation in the eyes that thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
Man, dare I dare. Approach thou like a rugged Russian bear. Beyond my mouth, so that the hair can tie me in shape of that. And from my firm nerve shall never tremble. I'll be alive again, and dare me to the desert with a sword. Trembling I have it then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence horrible shadow, unreal mockery hands. Why thus being gone, I am a man again.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special one? You make me strange to think when I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks. when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and may better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
He'll have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Arguers and understood relations have by maggot pies and chops brought forth the secrets man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at out of morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macbeth denies himself at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
No, but I will send. I hear it by the way. There's not one among him that in his house I keep a servant feed. Tomorrow I will betimes, and I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know, but the worst means the worst. I've stepped in blood so far that returning was tedious as gore. Strange things I have in heart but will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
Lack the season of all natures.
Come, go to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate of one's hard use. We're but young indeed.
Oh, now I get you to look angrily. Am I not reason? Seldom as you are, saucy and overbold. How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harm, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art? And which is worse? All you have done has been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, whose others do loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels with your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and fatal end. Great business must be wrought in. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs the vapor's drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that, distilled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites that by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, score death, and bear he hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Hark! I am called. My little spirit seat sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me. Come, make haste. She'll soon be back again.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Married, he was dead. And the right knight bank will walk too late, whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. And who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and Donald bade to kill their gracious father? Damned fact, how it did grieve Macbeth. And did he not straighten pious rage the two delinquents there, who were slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too. For it would have angered the heart of any man alive to hear them in tonight. And I do think, had he Duncan's sons under his key, as, and please heaven, he shall not, they should find what it were to kill a father. So should Fleance. But peace, For from broad words, and because he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
Aye, the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant owes the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is welcomed to the most pious Edward with such grace that malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is going to pray the Holy King upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike seaward, that with the help of these and him above to ratify the work, we may again have meat on our tables, sleep to our nights, no more feasts or banquets bloody knives. Do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we find for now. This report hath so exasperated the king, he prepared for some attempt of war.
Sent you to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute sir, not I. The cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums, as who should say, you rue the time that clogs you with this answer.
And that might will advise him to a caution. Keep what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country, under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Christ the branded calf hath mewed, Christ and once the head straight wine.
Happy Clyde, tis time, round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw, toad that under cold of stone, days and nights hath 31, sweltered venom sleeping got, fire outburst in the charred pot, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Pillar of a penny stick, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of dog, pull of bat and tongue of frog. Alice fork and blindworm sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a helper, boil and bubble.
Double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Spirit of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's money, maud, gulp of the rat and salty shot, root of hemlock deep in the dark, slither of the blasphemy Jew, ball of goat and slipped of you, slivered in a moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of a bird-strangled babe, pitch delivered by a drab, make the wool in the slab, add there to a tiger's cauldron, the ingredients of our cauldron, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, or a charm that's firm and good. By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What's it you do?
A deed without name.
I conjure you by that which you profess, however you come to know it, answer me!
Speak, demand.
We'll answer. Sayest thou rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters?
Call him, let me see him.
Pour in sow's blood that hasn't eaten her 9 farrow. Grease that's sweating from the murderer's gibbet. Throw into the flame. Come high or low, that self and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Beware the bane of fight.
Whatever thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou'st hopped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another. Mark Hutton and the first.
And I 3 ears I hear thee.
The power of man, when not a woman born, shall harm in the bed.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? The But yet I'll take a bond of fate and make assurance double sure that I may sleep in spite of thunder. What is this? That rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the rounded top of sovereignty.
Listen, but speak not to it.
Eli melted, proud and take no care. Who shakes, who breath, for men's powers are. Macbeth shall never vanquish thee until the great onward to high Dunsany Hill shall come again.
And that shall never be. Who can bid the forest, unbid the tree, unbid his earthbound roots? Sweet prophecies good. Rebellious dead rise never till the wood of Burnham rise. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, as thou art can tell as much. Shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know, Lord.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this and an eternal curse fall upon you. What noise is this? Why sings the cauldron?
Show. Show its eyes and breathe its heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Oh, thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down, crown to steer mine eyelids. The first is like the third. The third is like the former. Filthy hag, why you show me this? What will this line stretch out to the crack of doom? I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears which shows me many more. Oh, horrible sight. Now I know 'tis true. For blood-bolted Banquo smiles on me. What? Is this so? Where are they, vanished? At this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
What your graces will.
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Affected be the air whereon they ride, and damned be all that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it that came by?
Was 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macbeth had fled to England.
Fled to England? Time, thou anticipate my dread exploit. The flight he purposes ne'er o'ertook unless once goes with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. The castle of Macbeth I will surprise. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him to his line. This deed I'll do before the purpose cool. No more boasting like a fool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What had he done to make him fly the last?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. And our actions do not our fears to make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds will fight, her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little as the wisdom when the flight so runs against all reason.
Oh, my dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, to float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and move. I take my leave of you. It shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upwards to what they were before. my pretty cousin blessing upon me.
Father he is, yet he is fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sierra, your father is dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
What I get, and so do they.
Poor bird. Must never fear the net nor line, the pitfall nor the gin?
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they're not set for. My father's not dead, for all your sake.
Yes, he is dead. How much would you for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Well, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you might sell here.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet in faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang us there.
Now God help you, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you do for him. If you would not, or a good sign, I shall quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkest.
Bless you, Betty. I'm not too known. No new state of honor. I am perfect. I doubt some danger to this approaching nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence, with your little ones. To fright you thus methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you, where fell cruelty. Which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you, I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now I'm in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I take up this womanly defense to say I have done no harm? What are these faces? Where's your husband? I hope in no place no unsanctified or such as thou mayest find him. He is a traitor!
Thou stay here, boo!
No! And cry of treachery!
Can't kill me, Mother! Run away, I pray you!
Murderer! Murderer!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall and birthday. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like a syllable of Dolan.
But I believe I'll wail. What's no believe? And what I can redress as I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so. Perchance. This tyrant who so lame blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer for weak or innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you, wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safety. You may be right and just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, poor country! Great tyranny, lay down thy base ashore! For goodness dare not check thee! Beware thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkst for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the riches to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute sphere of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think with all there would be hands uplifted in my right. Here from gracious England have I offered goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country will have more vices than it had before, more supper and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless arms.
not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned than evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there is no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. My desire, all consonant impediment to an o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. Yet do not fear to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. At the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you as to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that were I king I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, in this other's house. My more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than some seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of many of us lame kings, yet do not fear. Scotland hath poisons to fill up the will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces, justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but bound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of Concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. Oh, nation miserable. With an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and his blasphemous breed. Thy royal father was the most sated king. The queen that bore me, often upon her knees and on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well at once. These evils I repeat upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. I press thy hope ends here.
Macbeth, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped its black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Black Macbeth, by many of these trades has sought to win me to his power. Modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction. Here unspeak my own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself as strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old seaward and 10,000 warlike men already to point was setting forth. Now it's together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile.
Well, more anon. Come to King Forth, I pray you.
Aye, sir. There are cruel, wretched souls who do stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
What's the disease he means?
It is called the evil, a most miraculous work in this good king, which oft since my here remain in England I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven, himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers. And 'tis spoken to the succeeding royalty, he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath the heavenly gift of prophecy. Sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
See, who comes here?
My countryman, yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, the times remove the means of making strangers.
Sir, all men.
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, but who knows nothing, as once seemed to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems upon an ecstasy. Dead men's knell is there, scarce ask for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps dine on ere they sicken.
Our relation too nice and yet too true.
What's the news, Grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker, each minute seems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at the peace.
No, they were well in peace when I did leave them.
Not a niggard of his speech, how goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was, to my belief, witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
To get their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us old Seward and 10,000 more like men, older, better soldier, none the Christian of give out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is defeat grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
Be mine and keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is prized. Your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner, we're on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What, man? Here, pull your hat upon your brow. Give sorrow words. Grief that does not speak whispers your for heart and midst break.
My children too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence my wife you too!
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. Did you say all? All my pretty ones? Oh, kites! What? All my pretty chickens in the town at one fell swoop! Disputed like man, I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macbeth, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am not for the own demerits, but for my king slaughter of their souls. Heaven rest them now.
This is the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger, but not the heart. Enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and the braggart with my tongue. But, gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Such a thing as this thing of stalling me myself within my sword's blood sent him if he escaped. Heaven forgive him too.
Most manly. Come, go into the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is right. We're shaking. The powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but I can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefits of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking, another actual performance, how many times have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo, you, where'd she come? This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
by that light.
Why, it stood by her. She had light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
See, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sins are shut.
What is it she does now? Look
It is-
how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to sing, thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yes. Here's the spot.
She speaks. I will set down what comes from her to remember the more strongly.
Out, damn this spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky! Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and a beard. What need we fear who knows it when none can call our power to account? Who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The same as fight had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will his hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more of that. You morrow with the starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir. Pray God it be.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, man goes buried. You cannot come out off the grave. To bed. That's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed.
Will she now go to bed?
Directly.
How whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has mated an amazed sight. I think but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
English power is near. Down by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macbeth. Revenge is burning them with a grim alarm word to the exciting man.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them?
That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donald may be with his brother? For certain, sir, he is not. For I will follow all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many in rough use that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Reduncinate, he's strongly fortified. Some say he's mad, others do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now do his secret murders stick to his hands. Now militant revolts upbraid his fate freak. Those he commands move only in command, never love. Now does his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish feet.
Who then shall blame his senses to recall and start, when all that is within him does blame itself for being there?
Well, march we on to give obedience where it is truly owed. Lead me the medicine of the sickly will, and with him
destroying our country's purge each drop of it.
Oh, so much as it needs to do the solid flour and drown the weeds. March we on, Fort Burner!
Bring me no more reports, let them fly off. The Burnham wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Then fly false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee back, thou cream-faced loon. Where goest thou, that goose look?
There is 10,000.
Geese, villain!
Soldiers, sir.
Oh, prick thy face and overrid thy fear, thou lily-livered boy! What soldiers patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors of fear. What soldiers, wave face?
The English force so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! Sick and hot when I do behold Satan, I say! This bush will ever cheer or deceive me now. I've lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf. And that which should accompany old age, such as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have. But in their stead, curses, not loud, but deep. Mouth honor, breath, which to a poor heart would fain deny. Satan, I say!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight! Till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Stir the county round. And hang those that talk of fear. How does thy patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Hear of that. Counsel not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory of rooted sorrow, raise out the ridden troubles of the brain. Some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the perilous bosom of the stuff that weighs upon the heart.
Wherein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. Come, give me mine armor. Come, sir, dispatch. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Bring it out, I say, bring it out! Seek and give me my staff. If thou couldst, doctor, find a disease. Purge the water from my land, find a disease. Purge it to a sound and pristine health, if thou couldst. I would applaud thee to the very echo till thou should applaud again. Put off, I say. What rhubarb sin or purgative drug would scour these English hens? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it out to me. I will not be afraid of death in vain till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousin, I hope the days are near at hand and chambers will be fed.
We doubted nothing. What is this before us?
The war of Burnham. Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our hosts and make discovery ere and report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keep still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it. 'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiers to
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Not speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but sudden issue strokes must arbitrate toward which advance the war.
cries till they come. Our castle strength will not besiege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and out you eat them up. Were we not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them careful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What was that noise?
Cry of women, my lord.
I'd almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. And at a dismal treatise my fell of hair would rouse and stir as if life were in it. I've supped full of horrors. Dianist, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once stop me.
What was that cry? The queen, my lord, is dead.
No! She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to day. To the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, free candle! Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot! Whose sound, fury signifying nothing. Thou comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I shall report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me know your wrath, if it be not so. You, within the 3 mile, you may see it coming, a moving grove.
If thy speech be false upon the next tree, thou shalt hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not, if thou dost as much for me. I begin to pull in resolution, and doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood come toward Dunsinane. Arm! Arm and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there's no flying hence nor tearing here. Begin to weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Blow wind, come rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Like those you are. You were the uncle. Shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Macduff and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Echo not so to speak! Give them our breath! Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death!
They tie me to a stake. I cannot fly. But bare-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a man I am to fear or none.
What is thy name?
Thou be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a harder name than any is in hell.
My name is Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorrent tyrant! With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst!
and I was born of woman. Swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn. Such a man that's of woman born.
That way the noises! Tyrant! Shoot thy face! If thou beest slain, it was no stroke of mine. My wife's and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hard to bear their staves. Neither thou, Macbeth, or else my soul will unbattered dead thy sheath again undeed. Where shouldst thou be? That is great clatter when the brig's not seen through it. Let me find him, Fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle is gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met the foes and strike beside us.
Enter through the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see gashes, the lives do better upon them.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back! My soul is much too charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloody villain that turns to give thee out!
As easy as mayest thou entrench in air with thy keen sword in press. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life and must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy talk, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macbeth was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, or to cow my better part of man. I will not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and lift to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under which here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet. Be baited with the rabble's curse. The Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and now oppose being no woman born. But I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macbeth! Damned be him that first cries, hold in now!
And with the friends we miss were safe arrived. Some must go up, yet by these I see so great a day as this is chiefly bought. Macbeth is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived until he was a man, to which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field, Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his word, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish to them a fairer death.
So as Nell is no. He's worth more sorrow. And that's all spent for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. So God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands usurper's cursed head. Time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in the mimes, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
Started the show back in September, we had no idea how appropriate it would be. A story of tyranny and a story of man maybe gone mad. Tonight we'd like to remember those brave men and women many miles from home who are serving their country and opposing tyranny where it stands. And to the people of Israel, shalom. Would you please stand with me and the cast and sing God Bless America.